Welcome in, everyone. RFK Refugees Podcast. Ted here, Jon here. We are back. Wednesday post-game show after our holiday hiatus. Although it chose a poor day. Don't worry, folks. I got permission, but today is actually my 9th wedding anniversary.
Boy, you didn't tell me that.
Yeah, I didn't. But it's all right.
Anniversary.
We had my wife had a little engagement that she had to go to anyway, so I got permission to watch the game. We had a nice quick dinner before that, so it's all good. We're all good.
Well,
life is good.
Anniversary anyway. I guess maybe it was like an anniversary present. The last 4 minutes of that game.
Maybe it was. I got we exchanged some better anniversary presents, including the chair behind me, and my wife got a brand new monitor. So
Nice.
That was the gifts that we already exchanged. Of I love you, dear. What's that? And the house we're sitting in. And the house we're sitting in. Love you, dear.
Don't forget that one. That you can dine on that one for a while.
Yeah, love you, dear. Love you very, very much, and thank you for letting me watch this. I don't know what we just watched. It's a game.
Certainly, without a doubt.
Thank you, Gabi Pirani, for saving us from what was going to be a just dire discussion about this team.
Before should be pretty dire, by the way. I will still not be good.
No,
they don't get off the hook.
But Jon, how you doing, my friend? How was your holiday weekend?
It was great. It was great. I spent a lot of time either playing baseball or in a pool, even though it was probably a little too cool to be inside of the pool. I was there anyway, because when you have a 5-year-old, it's never too cold to be in the pool. But yeah, no, I can't complain about anything. And I'm glad we waited until tonight to do the show, because I think trying to put together a show based on the Red Bulls game would have been not enjoyable. This is obviously slightly more enjoyable.
I mean, when you score a goal after 500 minutes in league play, almost 500 minutes.
It's good. It's a celebration. It's a time to be happy. How about your weekend? How about your holiday weekend? Other than knowing now that it was the prelude to your anniversary and 3 days after.
It was good. It was good. Actually, the Spirit game was great. Watch that. So that was at least good Spirit. Finally looking like sort of a dominant team out there. Things starting to kind of click together with Corey Bethune Gift Monday. So that was good. Other than that, it was a lot of just trying to get. We still had stuff in boxes. I've been refereeing like a madman these past few weeks. So this was like the first week. It was a holiday week. I turned down. I think there's a tournament I might have been able to work, but I was just like, nah, I need a rest. I need a break. So it was a lot of unpacking, a lot of putting stuff together, getting stuff ready. So almost there. We're getting there. But other than that was good. Which brings us, I guess, to DC, which I guess is not so great. It's been rough to say the weeks. They are in the quarterfinals of the U.S. Open Cup. That is literally, I think, the only thing that's kind of clinging this team to any type of hope that maybe they can redeem this season at this point. It's been really dreary. This looks like a team that is playing without a designated player, because that's what they are right now. They are playing without a designated player. Well, let's I don't know how you want to talk about, like, you haven't been around. Obviously, we had the Open Cup game. I talked a little bit about that. You sheepishly crawled off the bed. You played the 40-year-old man that you are, and just went and said, I'm going to bed. I'm going to bed after 10:30. Right. It's fine. I'll carry that for the next 6 years, and then I'll probably be like you once that happens. But yeah, it was that game sort of brought this team back to life, and then it was kind of like, all right, maybe this will be like a galvanizing force. Maybe this will be the thing that you see this team kind of pull together. And then they just came out and just laid an absolute egg against New York Red Bulls. Cue to this game, and it just kind of started to look really similar for really about 89 minutes of this game. Not a whole lot of creativity. They weren't really generating too many chances. Peglo looked good. He's probably one of the few players who looks semi-lively. But again, he's kind of on an island out there. Can't really do it on his own. Kojima, I think maybe it's time for him maybe to take a reset. I think we're seeing the limitations of him out on the right. I would like to see I don't know if a Jared Stroud, but a Randall Leal, a Christian Fletcher tried out in that role at this point. Other than that, it was just kind of like a nothing type performance. Although I thought defensively they played well until the goal, which we'll get to.
Yeah, I think part of that was the case. And New England also not impressive. Another team similarly sort of dull from an attacking perspective, which does not make sense based on the weapons that they have. They should be more dangerous than they are. So I don't want to take too much away from DC United's defensive performance, because I think, to your point, it's pretty good. But also the second half became even more dire after they snuck that goal. Like, it was just like sitting in against the fact that they scored is sort of magical, but like sitting in against this DC United team with no offensive weapons should be illegal. It's like the tush push of MLS defensive setups. Like, well, this team can't score, so that's not fair. You're not allowed to do that.
I mean, it really is. It is a case of there's no offensive weapons. Benteke's not out there. that's basically your only threat. They're like a Alexander Ovechkin Capitals when it was like in some of those dreary years where it's like literally if Ovechkin's out there, they had nothing. I don't know how else to describe it. I mean, this team is a one trick pony.
Yes.
Again, I've talked about this a lot. I mean, I think they've got 11 average to okay to potentially pretty good type players out there. That doesn't win you a lot of soccer games in MLS.
No. There's a reason why people pay for game breakers and creative players. That is the X factor. That's like otherwise you're rolling sevens out there. You're just like, all right, we're going to be averaging it up, and sometimes will be high and sometimes will be low. But if you just look at the lineup, if you just look at this lineup, like, all right, Herrera. Like if you look at Barraza, Herrera, Bartlett, Dodson, Srania, now Antley, Kojima, Merle, and Peglo. Maybe you take Peglo and Herrera on other teams, but other than that, you're just like, bro, I don't. This is it's like what if we built the entire plane out of depth? What if that's what we decided to do? And that's kind of what the situation looks like. We are missing some players, and Teke, the obvious one, but other than that, I mean, like Dominic Baji, it is just a cruel twist of fate that the one time you need him, when Benteke is out, he's also out. Like it just that has happened before, where we like, oh, we got some depth, and the depth gets hurt when it's needed. This just seems like the cursed situation that DC United finds itself in. But it's not. I think when we were watching this game and they had like 0.3 xG through 70 minutes, and I think we were talking on the Discord, it's just like, you can't blame Troy for this roster.
No,
like,
you really can't.
You really can't. And I sort of, I look back to the season when I was talking about like, you got maybe you cut rid of him, whatever. It is such a doesn't matter move. It is like the least important thing you can do when you look at this team and you look at sort of where they find themselves in the table and where they find themselves in terms of interest and like, the narratives that are being written about them. If anyone was actually writing about them, which they're not. You would say like, oh, okay, well, clearly it's not Troy. It's not. There's the Fergie, the ghost of Fergie, good Fergie going back and doing it. Also not going to make a difference. So I guess there's that. I say all those things like the result wasn't the result. Like I want to make sure that I don't feel too high about a 90 plus minute. I mean, good goal. He like that Pirani. We have said this from literally like his second week here with the club. The thing that he has proven, well, maybe not the second week because he had to do it for a while. The thing that he has proven that he can do is be a short, and it hasn't always been the case, but the only thing he's proved that he can do is be like a 15-minute impact player. Like he's got the leg. Him having legs against tired defenders is like what gives him the little bit of separation he needs to make a difference. If you start him at the beginning of the game, he is inert. He is not making a difference. That's been borne out. And as much as he wants to celebrate in front of Troy Lesesne about make sure, like, start me. No, we're not. No, don't start him. You want to start him. Go ahead.
I mean, at this point, man, I mean, you really would just want to keep rolling Peglo, Kojima, Mural out there as your front three. I mean, no, but Peglo should still be out there. I thought yes. he was shows his quality. So definitely he's the one player I'm like, yes, keep him. But I mean, you really want to just keep rolling the same lineup out here. I mean, you do have Fletcher, you do have Leao. I thought Fletcher showed some spark. I would love to see Fletcher get a start, get an opportunity.
Yeah.
To maybe make an impact in a natural position. I think he was kind of maligned in the Red Bulls game, and my response was, well, he went in for Merle and was basically asked to play a striker, and he's a winger.
Not his gig.
He's a winger, not a striker. He does not have the size to play that kind of, and really, not that he couldn't play a striker, but he's certainly not a player that can play a single man striker type situation. So I don't know, man. I mean, at this point, I'm like, you know what? You go in, you score a goal, the team suddenly looks lively. Maybe that's a combination of Fletcher, Stroud, Leao kind of being thrown in as an attacker. You're kind of throwing things against the wall. But, the team's pressure did sort of lead to that goal for like the first time, I think, all season. I have to go back to like the once he came in, the team's tilt on the field shifted all the way to DC United. And again, that is, New England sitting back, but
right, they were in a shell for 45 minutes. So
Well, I mean,
It bit them.
but I would argue that their shell still precluded, still was not their shell where they sort of sat back. They still found opportunities. They found chances. Really, it was that last 10-minute spell where this team looked engaging. The problem, of course, is that works really well for a 10-minute stint. I don't know you can go that attacking with this team when they play transition defense like we saw, which is the goal.
Look at the beginning of the season. The beginning of the season is the proof positive you cannot do that. So
yeah,
it's like their break glass in case of emergency attack mode that has like a 15-minute run that you can use, but you can only use it once. Then they used it at the end, which I'm glad because we got a point out of it.
Yeah, it really does. It feels like I don't know. Again, firing a coach is the easy thing. My hope is that I don't want to see Troy Lesesne fired because I'm just like, it feels so unfair to him. And unfair coaching firings happen all the time. I get it. It would just feel so unfair to him with what he's been given as sort of this roster. It's actually a minor miracle that, they're in the quarterfinals of the Open Cup.
Yep.
They're still alive in this playoff. They're still technically alive in the season. There's 7 points. There's 7 points out of.
I was just looking at the table.
Yeah, 7 points out of the playoff spot. Let's talk about Barraza. Made some great saves, but I watched that no moment, the goal that they gave up. It was literally like a car crash in slow motion. It was like as soon as Barraza left his line, I was like, shit. I was like, I knew it. I knew they were. I was like, they're going to give up a goal on this. I'm like, what is he doing? They had numbers back. They had Bartlett. I think it was Bartlett. It was either Bartlett or Rawls. Had the angle, was starting to close the angle. There was literally no need to do what he did. He comes out, and that immediately just throws your defense off. And you could tell it threw everybody off. I don't really blame any of the players defensively after that. Your goalkeeper kind of exits the box. Everyone kind of freezes. No one really knows what to do. It's kind of like throwing a wild card. Barraza has his Leroy Jenkins moment. I mean, it was so bad. And for a guy who has played extremely well, being kind of that solid man, I mean, you do have to look at this and say, really, New England didn't really get too many other good chances. Maybe a couple. There were some decent saves, I guess, from Barraza. But you look at that moment, and maybe Pirani is a last-second winner instead of a last-second tie. And that's the difference between, I think, a good team and a bad team right now. And that's where DC United falls.
I think New England would have been a lot more aggressive in the second half, and I think we would have seen who can prove the counterfactual. Not us.
We can't.
We sure can't. But yeah, no, I think this team is still really hard to watch. Goal in 10 minutes notwithstanding, I do not want to let them off on that. There was 400 and how many minutes? 480 minutes without a goal.
490.
Crazy. Everyone sort of talked at the beginning of the season about a need to break the reliance on Benteke as the sole offensive weapon. They were right. Not because Benteke makes the team worse, it's because things happen in life where you need a plan B and a plan C. And this team was like, no, we can't afford plan Bs and Cs. We got plan A, and then we have nothing. We've got Pirani in the 93rd minute. That's our plan B. And it's just, it's not acceptable. And I don't really care necessarily about the fact that part of that is about paying down the failures of the past to be able to ensure a future. You still got to put together a team that has multiple scoring options, no matter who you are. Every other team does. I don't know about Montreal, but even Toronto has multiple goal scoring options, and they're also dog ass. So that's just what it is. And I don't think Peglow's that. He is a really, really good piece. I'm glad that we have him. He is much better than Martin Rodriguez, which was sort of the concept of similar league profile, similar cost transfer, a little bit younger than Martin was when he came over here, but still good signing. I like it so far. Good. But he's not the in a Paris the name, the taxi replacement, the 9 goal, 11 goal scorer, 10 assist kind of guy. I don't think that's his role here.
He's a player that I think could be effective if you had more weapons out there. Mm-hmm. I think if Benteke is out there, he knows he can serve a ball right to Benteke. I think we saw that. That's probably why he was brought in. He can beat on the dribble. If you pair Benteke and then you pair another elite type signing, which presumably is coming this summer, whether it is Pogba, which I hope it isn't, whether it's Kevin De Bruyne, whether it's Luka Modric, whether it's somebody, there's presumably another signing. I'm hoping for a Peglo age type player, maybe a little older. I'm hopeful for a, elite type.
Not a Luka Modric who's almost my age. That was not let's not do that.
An elite type chance creator, because that's what this team needs, man. This team needs somebody to be out there to be a chance creator, to beat players on the dribble. That is what this team is so desperately in need of. It's what they gave away when they traded Matthias Klick. And Matthias Klick has not had the greatest year in Atlanta. Then again, nobody in Atlanta has had a good year this season. Nobody on that roster has had a good year. So would I think Matthias Klick could make a difference this year? Yeah, I do think he could. I think he would have 5, 6, 7 assists. I think he would be able to provide that sort of elite level chance creation that, I would say elite level, pretty good chance creation level that we don't have right now. We had a little bit of that in Kojima. It's not consistent enough. Peglo still need a little more time, I think, to adjust, but again, signs are good. You're certainly not getting that out of Cervania or Enal. Yeah. So that there needs to be that elite level chance. What do we think of Boris Enal in this game?
I mean, Mr. Yellow Card. I think he's now averaging a yellow card, but every 90 minutes, 95 minutes played, I think so far. What did I think about him? I don't rate him. I still don't think he's a solution. I think he's a step slow in the midfield when it's required upon him, and I don't think he's great passing. He's reliable. He's reliable to keep the ball moving when they have possession, but he's not breaking lines with any of his passing, and he's not doing anything other than slowing up. He's good at slowing the play up and fouling the other team so that that team has an opportunity to reset. So if that's a talent, I guess he's got that in the bag.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I need to watch it again. I thought he was decent tonight. I thought he made some timely interceptions, some timely plays that kept the ball. I think he kept the ball moving, got the ball into the attack. When he was out there, his yellow card that he picked up was a very worthwhile yellow card to pick up in that situation.
The best one he's ever gotten, probably. The most but he has gotten quite a few. He lost 8, the most duels in the game of 8, but he also completed 55 passes, which is most in the game. So the ups and downs of Borsino, he was doing a little bit of everything. Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like these are the games when he looks best, when he's active, when he is sort of feels like he's everywhere type of player, like he's sort of involved in a lot of defensive situations. It's once he goes silent that things go really badly because that means the midfield is being bypassed. I don't know. That's just my thoughts were I thought he was decent tonight. I thought he had his moments. He's gonna go for those types of challenges. He's going to disrupt. He's going to nearly picks up a red card. That situation. I saw that tackle. It's borderline. I think I'm okay with VAR not going to the monitor over that, but man, that was very, very nasty challenge. And I think Enal's lucky to walk away. So.
Atlanta has given up the same amount of goals we have given up, but they've scored 7 more. They've doubled our offensive output, so that's interesting.
With the amount of money they spend, you think it'd be more than 7 more goals.
You would think. They beat Orlando tonight 3-2.
So yeah, they're starting to bounce back
with a 95th minute winner. Yeah, don't count out talent. Don't count out money. It's a long season. You like the win catching that roster and carrying them forward a lot more than you like it doing it for us.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't know the same thing. Hey, positive news: Rita Zohir did not make the roster, so I think we might have finally graduated from him. Thank you, Troy the Saint.
Don't count your chickens, man.
I mean, honestly, you look at who came out. Jared Stroud again. That dude is just he also subbed into this game. I needed to know there has to be something going on in Jared Stroud's life. The dude just does not have any competence. Does not have any. I don't know, man. It's just every time he gets the ball. There's just nothing. He has had after a very bright start to the season, he has just looked completely lost. He's lost his starting spot, obviously, to Peglo and Kojima. I don't know. I don't think this performance gets him back. And then you've got Christian Fletcher who comes on and looks and shows a little more, just a little more ability to kind of beat some players on the dribble. These have been the first couple games, the Open Cup game and the game this time, where I looked at Christian Fletcher and I'm like, okay, I can see why this guy is so high up on everybody's radar. It's not all there yet. It's still needs to be a little more succinct, but overall, there's some promising signs there.
We got a game on the road in 3 days against FC Cincinnati, who just drew FC Dallas 3-3 on the road, I think.
Yep.
So
that game was at home. That game was at home. It was at TQL Stadium.
Okay.
So
they get back-to-back weekends then. I don't like our chances there, but we'll enjoy that. That was the rotation. That's why maybe David Schnegg came in the second half, didn't start. It wasn't an injury report. They keep trying to with him and Herrera, they know the miles that are on those legs, and they know that if one of those goes down with a moderate injury, it's about to get a lot more ugly. So I think they only play together for like 25 minutes in a game. They're like ships passing in the night over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, to your sort of talk about, they went 120 minutes, both of them against Charlotte. They then went, I think most, if not like the first half. So I think the team is trying to watch mileage on the legs. I don't think Dotson and Antley were either poor today. They just weren't. You could just tell when Schnegg came on that field, there was a difference. And that's another player. I mean, you look at this team starting lineup, the starting defenders, Bartlett, Rouse, Tubbs. Yeah, no one's going to be chomping at the bit. Schnegg and Herrera, I think you at least have two elite level wingbacks that any team could want. You've got Peglo. You put Benteke out there, you get another DP. Maybe you've got something that can at least a semblance of a sort of competitive roster. It's really going to be for this team. I think it's going to be how far can you get into the Open Cup? You're going. I think you do not rush back Benteke. The target date is he needs to be healthy for July 7th.
By the way, July 9th.
July 9th.
By the way,
yeah.
I bought my ticket. I will be in Nashville. I will be among at least 3 people that I have known have already purchased tickets. So that's it. That's the season, man.
Yeah. It's 2013, baby. We're back to 2013.
We are. And I regret not going to Utah for that game. I remember that would have been an opportunity. Like, you never know how rare the opportunities are to see a trophy. Where the 2 teams that are in it out west, remind me, who's still in it out there? Because they have the priority for the hosting the final. I'm very curious what cities are in play. I would do it.
Looking up while we're here. This is great television.
Hey, it's all right. Well, the good thing is I want to see if we can. We're gonna end under 30 minutes. I think that's the perfect length of this show. I think with this team and this point, I think 30 minutes is maybe ideal. It's not. Go ahead. What do you got?
Minnesota, Chicago, San Jose, and Austin, I think, are the 2 teams out west.
Okay. Not Minnesota, please. San Jose would be great. Austin would be all right. Well, who's playing Minnesota? Chicago?
Chicago.
That's fine, too.
Yeah. Chicago would be fun.
When's the time slot for the final? Is it September?
October 1st is what they have here.
Okay, so maybe not Chicago. Maybe don't want to do either Minneapolis or
Austin
Chicago.
Would be fun.
Austin would be pretty good. San Jose is good from a weather perspective and easy to get out. The airport is right there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, all you got to do is win 2 more games, right? And get you there.
Yeah, and so DC obviously playing the road to Nashville. They will, I think they host Philly and then go on the road to Red Bulls. So I don't know. We got a question here from Todd. Let's go ahead and talk about it while we got it up here. If you haven't already talked about Ray, what's up with Pirani's attitude towards the coaches? I kind of missed that whole thing. I don't know if you read much into it, but people saying, I think insinuating he might say, you should start me type scenario.
I mean, of course he's going to say that, but yeah, what do I read into it? I think that is very, very typical. I think I've seen that 1 million billion times. And Troy, don't fall for it, man. Although I guess with a game in 3 days, absolutely, maybe for sure. Actually, I've changed my mind with that short turnaround. I
mean, at this point, I just say with Pirani, I'm just like, honestly, with how bad it's been offensively, maybe it's time to start to reshuffle some things. Maybe it's time to.
That's an even bigger indictment on the Fidel Barajas
and
Turner thing.
Fidel Barajas is gone. I think he's back to Chivas. I think he is back to Chivas. Chivas are working on another loan for him. I think he was brought in because I think they thought maybe Tottenham was close to signing Christian Fletcher. That didn't happen because the timing of that all seemed weird. And now I think you saw a little bit. You definitely saw more out of Christian Fletcher than you saw out of Fidel Barajas. Let's just say in a short stint. And that's what you need, man. And that's what you need. And I think you have to recognize in top level sports, is that fair to Fidel Barajas? Maybe not. But additionally, like you get your moment, you got to show for it. And I think what we're seeing with Christian Fletcher sub in is that he came in and said, like, I'm going to go out here. I'm going to try to make a difference. I'm going to try to, be brave. I'm going to dribble. I'm going to do things because I think he sees this as kind of his, he's been snubbed by Swansea. He's been snubbed by Nottingham. Maybe that's kind of what he needed is to like, hey, I need to start actually proving it, on the field. I need to start actually, really showing I belong here. And maybe we'll see something out of Christian Fletcher. That's the storyline to watch, I think, for this team. If you're looking for something until this team makes a signing is where does he end up? Because I've seen some early returns that are promising from Christian Fletcher thus far.
All right. Let's wrap it up.
Yep, that's going to do it. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will probably be back Monday for a normal show. We're done with the crazy Saturday, Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday type schedule that we've been having for the past couple weeks. We'll be back. We'll probably talk Spirit. Spirit looked good. Definitely go watch them. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll catch you guys next week. Vamos.